I would say that from this first line we don't play the, but it's perfectly enough if we just play the melody. So just like the fingerings show, okay, you have to, it has to be an anchor for it. It cannot be just that we pluck single strings. Yeah, this is at the very beginning when you just start to play harp, to sort of get the feeling of the motion of how to pluck a string. Okay, but by this stage we always not anchor, but we always think ahead. Okay, that we need to play that E. But with that E, we need to play, after that E, we have to play the G and the C. So it's always a very fluid. And anyway, it's easier for the fingers to sort of have an anchor on the other side. So yeah, it looks, I don't know, it doesn't even look good. Okay, so I'm trying to show my fingers, okay, because for the left hand I need this side. And here, although the G is in the other bar, in the next bar, we have to put in, okay. Either with 3-2 or 2-1. Okay, so this is like an intro. Comes the left hand, as we agreed. And here you can't just be static and play fingers. There has to be a rotation of the wrist, okay? But the rotation doesn't mean that your wrist position is changing, okay? It remains the straight line on the top, so not like this, but straight, okay? And there is a rotation that's not necessarily coming from the wrist, but of course these are long bones here, so technically they are coming from your elbow, yeah, but there is this helping motion, okay, so you help your fingers to reach the strings, not just statically, okay, but there is this rotation, so it's like you know, the infinitive, the lying 8, yeah, it's on the ground, and it's like an 8 note, not an 8 note, a number 8 that's lying on the ground, okay, so and this is not just helping, but this is also releasing, so this is when you okay, but of course it has to speed up eventually, not in this piece, but the movement stays. The numbers, okay, I thought that I show you how many different chords there are, not many, because for the first 3 chords the previously, we are in C major. The 3 most important chords in any major scale or any major tune is the first, the one that's built on the first note, yeah, C. The one that's initially built on the 4th note, which is the F. It doesn't matter if it starts with C, but essentially it has all 3 notes that would be F, A, C in whichever direction. If you have it like this, that there is a bottom F and C and an A, it's still an F major chord. It's still on the 4th, built on the 4th note of a C major. So first, course, fifth, which is a G, B, D. Again, doesn't matter which direction, where do you start? A B, G, or a B, G, D is again a chord. It's an inversion of this chord. Okay, I can put it like this, wide. I can put it like this, narrow. So technically, basically, these are the three chords that we can meet in this piece, although normally it never starts on the root, yeah, only for the C. So that's number one chord. This is the number two chord, which is technically an F major chord, okay, but it's in an inversion. It's not starting from F, it's not from A, but it's starting from C. And then comes back to the number one chord. Okay, one whole bar to the number one chord, and comes the number three chord. It's a G major. Technically, it doesn't matter that it starts on B, it's still a G major chord because it has the three notes of a G major, which is G, B, and D. And then, so these have variations, and only in the fourth row we have additionally, very briefly, three more chords appearing, but it's just to transition back to the original key. Okay, so that's why I numbered it. Maybe it's easier for you to understand and to memorize. And again, as we talked about, rewritten. That's why I put the note names under it, so to not have questions. And of course, pay attention in the third row, third bar. Okay, there's once this, but the next one is a variation of this. Instead of the D, you have an F. Okay, and you need always your first three fingers for this, yeah, because there are essentially three notes to play. Changes to number two and back to number one. Number one. What is it? Line 4, yeah. For it to be flowing or fluid, you have to practice it really slow, so that you keep the tempo when you have to change. Do not don't play it in tempo, so that you have to stop before you can play. Okay, you have to slow it down to a speed. If it's like this, you have to slow it down to this speed, so that you practice the motion. Okay, because if you're playing it in a speed and you need time here, then you unnecessarily practice it wrong. Yeah, and to correct something that's being practiced in wrongly, honestly, it takes about, I don't know, let's say 100 times more effort and time, instead of practicing it slowly but good. And if you can play this in tempo 5 times, be, this is true to any piece you practice, okay? But particularly, I show you this part because changing from a finger and then your position is changing a little, yeah, because you were playing upwards and then suddenly you need 4 fingers and playing downwards, okay? This is a big change initially. That's why you have to show your brain, and of course you don't have to watch, you don't have to look at the sheet music. So look at your hands, because this is how your eye and brain and finger is getting connected, okay? Your brain, literally, it's not your eyes seeing, but your brain, obviously. And so these 4 fingers have to be in at once, okay? It has to learn, okay? Your hands has to learn, and in turn your brain is going to learn. So when you look at the sheet music again, it's going to be natural